Hey everybody, how's everything going today? I wanted to jump on live with you. I might have a special guest. I do have a special guest joining us. So what I want to do first and foremost is let you guys know you could communicate with me right in the chat. And I'm going to tee up the special guest that we have coming on. We have Andrew coming on from Realty Success Coaching. Let me just see, Andrew, you ready to go? 1 minute. He wants 1 minute. So I'm going to continue with my intro. What I'm going to tell you guys is this. First and foremost, what I want you to do is type in any questions that you might have in the chat, because Andrew is a coach for new real estate agents. He's a real estate broker himself, many years experience. He does real estate coaching. So if you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat. We'd love to take any of your questions that you might have today. So please jump right into it. And what I'll tell you is this, and Andrew just gave me the thumbs up. He said he's ready to go. He's ready to do rapid fire with you guys. So I'm going to ask him some questions that you might have, and I'm going to bring him in, let him do his thing, let him talk to you guys about getting started in the business. So let me do this. Let me just open up the chat, okay? And let me just let you know, like I said, you guys could ask any questions that you would like. Feel free to type anything in, anything you want. Again, Andrew is a fantastic resource for new agents. So let me bring him right in. And also, I'm going to show you his website. We'll have it down at the bottom. He's realtysuccesscoaching.com. So let me bring him in. Andrew.
Hey, Stu. You know, I was wondering why I was in black and white, and that's what I was taking along to try to figure out.
Hold on 1 second, because it sounds like I might not have you. I need to do this. I need to change up my audio, because I think that my audio that I'm having is through the headphones. So give me 2 seconds, Andrew, and I'm gonna get this, because I can't hear you. Hopefully everyone else on the other end could hear you a-okay.
Good morning, Cerise.
Sure that I could hear the words that are coming out of your mouth, because otherwise I won't be able to get all this information that you guys are having. So even a tech wizard like myself has some tech issues. So Andrew, try saying something.
Good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you now. So everyone, that makes it much better. So I can hear you loud and clear now, because I got you going through my mic. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works. So guys, and I see a couple people typing into the chat. Good morning to us, whoever's watching on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching from. Andrew, what I'm going to do is this. I want to start off with one thing. Introduce yourself, I gave them the real top-down view. What I want you to do is give them a little bit more insight as to what you do, how you can help new agents. And I have your website down at the bottom too. So tell them a little bit about, like I said, what you do, so that they can know what kind of questions to ask. And guys, as Andrew's introducing himself, feel free to type anything into the chat, whether it's YouTube, Facebook. We got you covered. So we'll definitely be able to take some of your questions live. So Andrew, go right ahead.
Hey, Stu, thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. So I just want to give everyone a quick little background as to what I do. I own a real estate brokerage in Long Island, New York. We have a bunch of agents who work here. We train agents. We get them into production fast. We start getting agents to get accepted offers very quickly. And then I thought to myself, how do we scale this so that we can take this anywhere? And we created Realty Success Coaching, where we have all this knowledge, all this, everything that we do in the brokerage, I put on one website, and we do group events where we train people and hold them accountable and create goals for everyone to get them real results fast. And when people sign up for the program, they start closing deals way faster. They start putting buyers under contract. They start getting listings faster, because the nice thing about having access to knowledge is that once the good data is there, you could act really fast, right? So that's the problem that I'm trying to fill in here. I'm trying to put the missing puzzle piece in of how to do things. Then the other thing that I do is I invest other people's money. So I raise money from investors, and I flip houses, and I do buy and holds with other people's money. I use none of my own cash. I use all raised money. And with that, I create passive income streams for myself and for my investors. So I'll get 100 grand from one investor, for example, and then I'll go find a house that we could flip. I will hire a builder and contractor to do all the work with me. We go out, flip the property. I pay a portion of the profit back to the investor with their capital. I take a portion of the profit, and my builder takes a portion of the profit. And I did all that, made that all happen without laying out any of my own money. So I'm able to invest in real estate by just being a great broker, an intermediary between investors and builders.
And you know something, that was something that always interested me about what you do and the experience that you bring to the table, because the investment side, Obviously, the real estate coaching, that's something that I'm sure a lot of you guys want to take advantage of. You want to be able to know, hey, what am I doing day one? But I'm going to ask you a question, because I think a lot of students that come to me, they ask me this question, or they say this is the reason why I got into real estate. I got into real estate because I want to invest. I want to have the passive income. I want to do stuff like that. And that is a situation there. So I'm going to ask you, the first question that I want to ask is this. Number one, how do you think a new agent who has an interest in investing, maybe for themselves as a passive income, what do you think they should be doing to get themselves set up for success? So how would you coach someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of money and not a lot of experience? What would you say, maybe a couple of steps that they should be taking now to set themselves up for success in the future?
So it's someone who brand new agent, wants to invest in real estate, doesn't have the money to do it yet.
Yep, that is exactly it. Yep.
All right, so basically that's where I started. I didn't have the money to do this, and I had to make it happen without having money. So what I did to do that was, the first deal I found a property that I was like, wow, this could be flipped. This is a great price. I went and found, actually, the first person I contacted was my brother-in-law. And I said, hey, Dan, check out this deal I just got. Look at the price. Look what we could do to it. And this is what we could sell it for after. If you lay out the money, I will make this happen. And I gave him an absurd amount of the profit. Because it was my first one. He was taking the risk.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, I had no skin in the game. So, obviously I had to make it worth his while. And I told him that I would provide administrative oversight. I would make sure that, all the materials got bought, all the permits were filed. I did all the administrative tasks and kept the deal moving forward. And eventually we sold the property. We made a nice profit. And he got a 50% return on his money. And I made I think $35,000 off that. But again, I laid out no money. Right?
Yeah.
So it was awesome, right? And now, more importantly, I have it on my resume that I accomplished this. And then from there, it only snowballed, because what I started doing was, like, on my Instagram account, I started to document everything we did. So every house we flipped, I would make a story highlight, take photos, videos. I would go there once every 2 weeks and update everyone. And people were watching me on Instagram as I'm flipping houses. And then before you know it, it didn't happen long. It was very quickly. Other people started reaching out to me saying, hey, I want to invest in one. Can we do this? And then every time someone came to me, I would just lower the profit a little bit more, lower the profit a little bit more. And now I have it at a good spot where investors are still very happy, very, very happy. I give them 20% of the profits that we make on every job.
That's amazing.
They make a lot of money, but I get to keep 40% and my builder gets to keep 40%. And that took, constantly doing it and just letting everyone know I'm doing it.
Yeah, and something that, what I'll tell you is this. I think a lot of students always want to have that immediate hit, that first, definite, like, infusion of money. And I'm sure that some people are listening to this and saying, wow, 35,000, I would take that in a heartbeat. And
I was very happy.
I'm sure there's a lot of students that are watching this. Hey, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you would be happy with that. Now, we do have a question that came in from Arizona Native over on our YouTube channel. So, Charles Robinson, yeah, we do. What we're going to do is this. We'll take the first question that I think would be appropriate for you. So mind me if this is going to be a little rapid fire, but let me put it up on the screen. The question is, how are agents finding listings in low inventory situations? So as a broker, so this probably shoots back to the brokerage situation. Again, I'm interested. I always get fascinated with the investment side, what you do there. But I think that this is a question that I think experienced and new agents have this question right now.
Of course.
So, give me your perspective on that. And I have that question right down below. So how are your agents finding listings in this low inventory situation? What are the tips that you would give them? So
we have changed our approach in the brokerage within the last, I would say, year and a half, of going from selling, and convincing, right? That's the process of selling, is pushing, selling, and stuff like that. We don't do that anymore. And now all we do is consult. And by changing the approach, we are empowering homeowners to make the best decision they think is possible for themselves. And all we do is just tell them, here's all the facts, here's all the data. For example, I open up the MLS in front of them, and we show them everything that closed in the market for the last 6 months. We show them what people were asking for versus what they got. We show them the days on market on average. What happens when people buy with a mortgage? What happens when people buy with a cash? And by the way, we do this consultation on both buyers and sellers. And by providing them with a state of the market consultation, we are able to convert them very quickly, very easily, because we're actually probably the only people in the moment that I know of that is not trying to convince you to do anything. We're just empowering them to make decisions. And then we ask them, what result would you like? This is how this works. This is how that works. How would you like this to be done? We act more like consultants. So we're actually able to convert very quickly. Now, as for the finding the listing, that part hasn't changed. For the most part, it requires hitting the phones, calling your network, door knocking, flyers, everything. We do it all. And actually, one of the most successful things that it just started happening out of nowhere is I don't know if anybody's working with this company called OpCity. If you're not, you should.
OpCity, yeah.
Yeah, OpCity is basically a lead generation company that will send you both buyers and sellers, and then they want a portion of the commission when the job is done. Now, the portion of the commission is high. Nobody likes giving away 35% of their commission. Yeah. But this is what's happening. We are making way more introductions. We're making more introductions than more people. And as we start putting people in, we meet them, we eventually find people who need to sell. We find other people, their friends and family, who need to sell and buy. A lot of the buyers that were buying with us have sold with us. The conversion rate has been super high because, A, we put them into consultation and empower them to make decisions. We don't focus on convincing people. We just consult them. And B, they have multiple transactions to do. Yeah, rule of thumb, Stu, is the more people you meet, the better the chance of success, right? So you need as much attention as possible.
Yes, 100%. So here's what I always say. I say your network dictates your net worth.
Exactly.
So what happens is that's why you and I are having a conversation, because what happens is the more people that I, bring into the fold, the more that I'm actually going to be able to add value to my students who are going out there into the field. I mean, here's the thing. I told you a lot about what my business is. And guess what? If people are watching me right now, you know what I do. I do real estate exam prep. I come here, I talk to you guys about how you're going to get past the exam. But I want to set you up for success in your career. That's the next step. And that's something that we have to partner with people like Andrew to make sure that we're getting you the best information possible. So OpCity is a fantastic, wonderful, amazing tool. And there's other things out there too. So let me ask you this, Andrew, kind of piggybacking off of that. You mentioned OpCity. I know about it. I think that a lot of students out there who are just starting their real estate career don't know about that or other tools.
Right.
So, we introduced you guys today to Andrew's training site, which is Realty Success Coaching. Okay. And we also mentioned OpCity. And what I want to do is this. I want to also ask Andrew, what are some other things you think agents should be looking into? So again, keep in mind too that some of these agents are strapped for cash. They're just coming out of real estate school and they're paying their, what they're paying for, the realtor dues, the MLSs, the board dues, the association fees. So there's a lot of things that are going into this. So, Andrew, why don't you tell me some other things that you think they should look into? Because I think OpCity is great because it doesn't cost you, and you're not buying the lead, because what happens is you're giving them, and this is why Andrew mentioned this. He mentions it because it doesn't cost you upfront money. You only pay at closing. So what else do you think they should be investing in?
A lot of people should know that I've been doing real estate. I think it's been a little over 6 years now, and I signed up with OpCity a while ago. And I have been reselling and being referred by people from years back, like five or 4 years ago. They're just still sending me work. And I also signed up with Zillow. I signed up with Realtor.com. When I first started and became a realtor, the very first thing I did was open a 0-interest credit card. And I called up Zillow and said, start sending me leads. Now, I didn't have this expectation that every lead they send me is going to make money, but I knew that every lead they send me is going to be an introduction, right? So I'm out there door knocking, making phone calls, mailing flyers, doing everything realtors are supposed to do. And we train our agents to be more effective at it. But for the most part, a passive flow of introductions is something that OpCity does, Zillow, Realtor, Now, if you need another resource that I think doesn't cost money, I'm not sure because I haven't used it myself, but I heard of Boomtown. Have you ever heard of Boomtown?
Yeah, I think Boomtown is a pay to play.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to put it into the box down below, because guess what? The more resources that you guys have, the better. Okay. So I really like, and I like mentioning different things that you guys could interact with, and you could try to get yourself, like I said, you're growing that network. And what I want to do is this. I know that this is the first one that I'm doing like this, where I have a whole bunch of, just daily, one-on-ones like this, where I'm just talking to somebody in the industry like yourself. I want to do more of these. So what I want you guys to do is in the chat, let me know if this is something you'd like to see every day during the week. Okay. And, I will definitely, Andrew just sent me a great link, which is going to be for his, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put this one up here for Andrew.
Yeah, let me explain it.
That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. So I just threw it up onto the bottom there, so that you can now basically tell me what you think, what this is, so that these guys that are watching this can now know what this Speed Closer special is.
Yeah. Let me explain this. So we developed the Speed Closer training course, which is a series of about 15 videos to get agents to become way more efficient with their time. So no more driving around showing people 10, 15, 20 properties. You're going to start showing people 3 to 4 properties, maybe 2 properties, right? We're going to really cut down on the number of showings. You're going to really cut down on the number of people you take out, because the people that you do take out are well qualified, well educated, well trained, and they will buy. And if you follow this technique that we created, this is what we've been doing in my brokerage. It's been making people massively successful here. If you follow this technique, you will close very quickly, very fast. Well, I mean, you can't say close, but you'll get under contract very quickly, very fast.
And that's the path. I mean, I don't want to interrupt you, but I mean, so many people fall out of the industry. I'm sure you've seen it, right? You've seen it where it's, hey, Stu, there's probably people that come into the industry guns a-blazing, and then 6 months in, money's dry. That's it. They're done. They're out. So what happens is, what we're trying to do is we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to get you guys introduced to the right people, not only myself, people like Andrew, so that you can go out there and spend your money on things that we feel are going to be stuff that is going to make you more money. Because bottom line is this. You put all this effort into passing the real estate exam, and I know, because I'm with you on the one-on-ones, I'm with you guys in the different avenues that you're trucking along, and you guys are doing a fantastic job there. And then what happens is you get into the reality of real estate, and here's what happens is it's sink or swim, and especially in this market, a lot of people are dropping out, changing brokerages because they don't make the right decision. So something that I'll tell you too is this. So if you want, go down to Andrew's site. Has a lot of great resources. And what I'll also tell you is this. So I always ask this question because, and this is something that I'm going to put on the box down below now, is you guys, if you do want to chat with me, interact with me, set up a time to talk, I'm always more than happy to take some time out and speak with you guys about any questions that you might have about your real estate career, or even real estate exam prep. Andrew, what are some things that you think a new agent should be doing as far as looking for a brokerage, or as far as, just starting their career? Like, what should they be looking out for? And like I said, I know I've spoken my piece about that on my channel and my Facebook group many a times. So why don't you tell me what you would think would be a good thing?
So let me ask you something first, too. So would you agree that there's a really high fail rate for realtors?
I would say that there is a extremely high fail rate, and there's many reasons why I think that, but I think there is an extremely high fail rate. Yes. Well,
let me ask you, in any other industry, let's say we're in healthcare, right? And let's say we have, I think it's something like 93 or 92% of the realtors who get a license do not go into production and end up quitting or getting into the career. So imagine you get into any other industry, law, healthcare, teaching, anything, and 92% of the workforce fails, right?
Yeah.
Why, do you think that would be acceptable for a doctor? You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So what does that highlight to you? That there probably is an issue with training, right?
1,000,000%.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what made me start my own brokerage. Number one is that I didn't want to access the same information that everyone else was accessing. I was in Keller Williams. I was in all these other companies. I'm not going to mention all the names, okay? And I did all the trainings, okay? I did all the trainings, and I was not impressed. I was just not impressed. And then I went out, spent $100,000, actually it was something like $85,000 training, learning from Grant Cardone, doing all his stuff, learning Tony Robbins stuff, learning from Ray Dalio, doing all these training programs from people who were making billions of dollars. I wanted to access higher knowledge. And then I took the knowledge I learned there and applied it to my real estate business. And that's what made me say, okay, it's time to open my own brokerage. It's time to train my own agents to close like I'm closing, to do the things the way I'm doing it, ultimately leading me to Realty Success Coaching. Because after a while, you start training 7, 8 people. You're like, I can't be everywhere. So now we have to make videos and do group trainings, right? So all of that experience is what I brought to the platform. And that's what made me have the success, right? So it was all about accessing higher knowledge. And I didn't want to learn from the average. There's an averageness that's already out there in the industry, and the averageness is unimpressive. That's why there's a 92% fail rate. So I wanted to access higher knowledge. Does it make sense?
It makes total sense because, I think that you and I, being in the industry as long as we have, we've sat in on really bad training.
Oh.
And the difference is, here's the difference. The difference between really bad training and really good training is almost day and night. It's almost like here's what I'm going to tell you about once you sit down on a really good training.
Yeah.
A really good engaging training makes you, it's basically like your first sip of very, very, very expensive wine.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your box white Zinfandel, and it doesn't do it.
It's like good coffee, right? You ever have really good coffee, and then you go back to having coffee, and you're just like,
I mean, I traveled to Italy, and I will tell you this: having espresso every day, several times a day, was a treat. And then coming back here to Starbucks, it didn't do it for me. So what I want to do is this, and I want to keep all these interactions, these little live one-on-ones. What happens is this: it looks like a couple of you said, "Hey, do this more often," and I'm just trying to find a sweet spot. Oh yeah, listen, I'm going to definitely have Andrew on here again. And what I want to say is this: I want to wrap up a little bit, so I want to see if you guys have any other questions. But I want to ask Andrew, what are your parting words for people who are studying to pass their exam and looking to get into the career? What would you say is some words of advice, words of wisdom that maybe you wish you had?
Absolutely. The most important thing I want to tell everybody is this was probably the pivotal moment that changed my career. By learning this one piece of data, which I'm going to give you right now, my whole business changed. My life changed. I started to believe in myself more. I started to raise other people's money. I started doing, and it literally all came from here. And I said to myself, going forward, I'm only going to access data from people who I am impressed by, people who I want to be like. I'm not just going to take the advice of others just because they throw it out there. People give you advice all the time, and they give it to you so liberally that it's almost like, who are you to tell me? You got to look at the person and say, do I want this person's results? Because if I think and act like this person, I'm going to have what they have. So by making this distinction in my career, going forward, I'm not just going to listen to the other agents in the office. I'm not going to listen to people who the office says is a top producer. I don't know a real top producer. I'm not going to be impressed by people who only make $100,000 a year. I want to make millions and billions of dollars. So I access information from people who are making way more, who are making those figures. And because of that, my business changed. So the most important data I can give to you is it's not so much what you learn, it's who you learn from. That is the most important lesson I think I've ever learned in my life. Oh, one more thing, Stu. I actually started a podcast. It's called Entrepreneur Radio. And on that podcast,
so where could they find you on that so that I could share that out?
It's everywhere. Spotify, Apple Play. Hold on, type it out.
Yeah,
So on this podcast, I started interviewing authors, 7- and 8-figure income earners, people who are like 27-time authors, 8, 10-time authors. Everyone on my podcast is making money in the 7 to 8 figure range. So when you listen to them, and you want to know something really unique? All of them have spirituality in the center of their mind and thought. It was literally all about their mindset, spiritual connection to the universe and God and everything like that. So it's really interesting to hear these successful people tap into higher knowledge, and they all have the same data as well. They all know that whoever they're going to learn from has to be someone of high caliber. So just be very, very scrutinized. Like a guy like Stu has passed. How many people have you passed the test for?
Thousands.
That is absolutely a person I would learn from, right? So then look, I have a guy like me. I'm flipping houses. I'm running a brokerage. I would take my advice if I wanted to make, get to my level. But then at some point, I'll outgrow me, and I'm going to have to go find someone bigger than me, right? The point is never stop accessing knowledge.
And here's the thing. I mean, I think that's absolutely phenomenal. It's great pieces of advice. So what I would say is this. Charles said over on the YouTube channel, I just want to answer his question real quick, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of jump off. So Charles said, I have a question. Of course, I always get questions about the real estate exam, because guess what? Most of you guys who are watching me, you're out there trying to set up and get yourself ready for the real estate exam. So what I'm going to say to you is this, okay? I'm going to say, so I'm going to say this. Bottom line is the best resource for real estate exam prep is going to be Prep Agent. The ebook is probably the best thing there. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a member of the Prep Agent team. I private tutor for Prep Agent. That's going to be absolutely, the situation there. I think that's the best resource for you, because I think that all the textbooks are really too wordy. But here's what I want to do.
Who wants to read a textbook?
I don't want to read a textbook, but I'll tell you this. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do one more time. I want to just give a nice plug to Andrew for his Realty Success Coaching. I want to do one thing, okay, before we sign off, okay? And I'm going to say this. And I'm sorry if I said Charles before, Charles Robinson. I see it's Charisse. I totally mispronounced it. My mistake. I just see the CHR, and my crocodile mind, my small little pea brain just adds on whatever it wants. So I apologize about that if I kind of just threw that name out there. So good luck, because I see you're testing on Monday. I want to know one interesting thing about you not real estate related.
What was that?
I said one interesting thing about you not real estate related.
Oh, me? Not real estate? I love to cook. I love to cook. I love to eat. I'm all about, basically, dining and hosting, and I'm all about socializing and feasting and having fun together. I think one of my proteges right here in my office, Adriana, we've gone to lunch, I think, every day, and it's always something extravagant, because I like to live each moment like this is going to be the last meal. So I fully enjoy.
Let me tell you something. That's absolutely fantastic. So you know what? Now that I know that you go for extravagant meals, I'm going to have to make it my way out to Long Island and break bread with you one day, figuratively and literally, because again, I want to grow my network. So guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. We're going to wrap it up today. And I will tell you this, one last thing. I do want to throw this one up there, because I always like when I get a thank you. Jared, he passed his exam. Hey, congrats. Awesome. And I think Jared signed up with EXP. So congrats on that.
Awesome. EXP is a great company, guys.
Fantastic. Yeah. So what I'll tell you is this. One last thing. If you guys do want to schedule some time with me so that you could figure out where you're going with your real estate career, just go to chatwithstu.com. I'd be more than happy to set anything up with you, try to get you in the right direction, even if whether it's with myself, someone like Andrew, wherever the right fit is. We want you to make sure that you do not become that statistic, that 92% that is not going to succeed in the career. We want to make sure that you have the information you need to be dangerous and making billions. So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. We're going to be doing more of these. So Andrew, thank you so much once again for coming on board. And what I will tell you is this. We will definitely be having more conversations. So guys, I'm going to sign off.
Hey, congratulations, Kelly.
So what I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to sign off now, but Andrew, stick around, because I definitely wanted to still talk, pick your brain for a little bit. So guys, have a great one. Take